Right then, good evening. It's Wednesday evening. It's 7:30 p.m. here in London. It's time for Straight Talking with me, Mark Wilkinson, where we interview interesting people from around the globe. We've had some amazing people join me over the last probably 3-4 months now. We've been doing this, and it's been really special. It's been absolutely fantastic to have people from all over the globe. I've had Garrick Jones from the NFL. I've had Lewis Senior. I've had Danny Rampling. I've had some incredible guests, some love coaches, relationship coaches, you name it. I've had people join us from all over the place. Footballers, Jason Cundy. So many people have joined us. It's been absolutely fantastic. And then last week happened. And last week happened when I basically got Rocky, Lofty and Keith from Flying Records into an interview, and we were just talking about everything that went on at Flying, and it was hilariously funny. I knew it would be funny. I also didn't realise that 2 hours would go past quite so quickly because 4 of us were on this call, and it brought so much joy and so much value to so many people that the only thing I could do was do it again, right? That's the only thing I could do. We ended up having almost, I think, 3,500 plus views, 3,500 to 4,000 plus views last week. It was absolutely fantastic. And I was really, really blessed to have Rocky, Lofty and Keith with me. And we've got Stuart. Stuart's come straight in saying last week was so good. I can't wait for this week. And Justine, yes, Justine, last week was fantastic. So if you want to be a part of the stream and you want to have your name up there with us and then, just be a part of this and fire questions at the lads, I would love that. There's so many of you logging on right now. It's going to be a fantastic hour. It might be 2 hours. I don't know. But it's going to be certainly very, very interesting. So Flying Records, if you don't know enough about it, then let me just give a bit of history. It was running from the late 80s. It started out as a club night. And things just grew and grew and grew from there. We were all caught up in the acid house days that turned into the house music phenomenon that went across the globe. And it truly, truly was a really special time. Danny Rampling's been on interview with me a couple of times, and one of his things is what a time it was to be alive. What a time it was to be alive. And it was incredible. It was special. And I'm really, really happy to say we've managed to get through technical difficulties. We've had one of the lads down Tesco's getting himself. I can see you laughing, Dean. We've had one of the blokes down Tesco's getting himself a webcam and a microphone. It's been an adventure all week. It's been an adventure, but we've managed to pull this together, and I'm really grateful, massively grateful to the 3 gentlemen that are just about to join me. So let me bring them in one by one. Here we go. First of all. Hello, Dean.
Hello, Mark. Good evening, people.
How are you, mate?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good here.
Excellent. Yes, you were the one we had down Tesco's getting his
yeah. And got a bargain.
I know you did.
Price. Yeah.
Well done, mate. Well, it's working perfectly. Yes.
Yeah, all good.
God bless the internet. Right, and let's bring in Max. Here he is. Hello, Max.
Good evening, Mark.
How are you? You okay?
Evening, Max.
Look at you lounging. You might be slightly closer for the microphone. Just okay, that'd be lovely. And last, but by no means least, he's actually here. You've got to love him. Late, but only slightly. So we totally forgive him. And you've got a little story about Brandon, perhaps, Dean, that you might want to share early doors. But let's bring. There's Brad. Hello, Brandon.
I heard everything you said.
You're meant to hear everything we said.
That's the trouble when you have a waiting room. It's like a green room.
And let me just say that I was looking at my watch thinking, I hope Locko's going to be here in a minute. Like, here we go.
Oh.
And I was really hoping that he was going to be here. And Dean told me just a tiny little story about something that happened that went ahead. Go on, Dean. What was it?
We've missed whole sets, haven't we, Brandon, where we've been a little bit late.
Do you know what? There was one. Oh, I've got to tell you this. I hope Dean don't mind.
What was it? Oh, sorry, I've had an upset tummy.
Something flew up my nose last night, and I just felt just terrible ever since. I don't know what's going on.
Bloody moths.
Do you know what? I lovely to see you, Dex, Max, Dino. There was one though, right? It was hilarious. And we'd been at the Happy Hotel, which is our friend's place in Harrow. Oh my God. Anyway, we went to Full Circle and Dean thought he was DJing. so he just walked up, pushed out the DJ away, took his record, looking through his records and stuck one on. Ta-da! Thank you very much. Yeah, you're not meant to be here, Dean. Well, I am now.
And there was a moose on the wall or something, wasn't there?
Oh, I can't tell you the name of the DJ who was playing though. Oh God, no.
So look, we've already got some amazing. We've got some amazing people coming in already. Justine's saying hello, lovely.
Hey, hello, lovely.
Love those faces. Dave Valentine, Davey V's just saying evening, gentlemen, with Dave.
Hello, Dave.
Chandler's saying just to get here now, he's going off, but I hope tonight's a raging success. And Matt is saying highlight of the week. So here we go then. Here we go. This is going to be fun. This might be Ali as well. That's my boys right there. Ali promised he was going to be a part of this as well.
Yeah, I spoke to him earlier. He's coming on.
And Neil Barker saying good evening, chaps. So there's loads of people watching us already, and there's going to be more joining us throughout the time we're here. And people are begging us to be 2 hours. But let's just see what happens. Last week went on for 2 hours. But look, I'm going to share many of you onto the stream. If you've got questions for Dean and Brandon and Max, then of course just fire them in to the chat box, and I'll put the boys on the spot. Craig Bartlett's just saying, look, Craig Bartlett's here. Nice to see you, Helen and Craig.
Craig.
Brilliant stuff. So that's great. So look, I promised a quick fire round at the start. Yeah. So
where's it streamed to? I'm trying to find it on Facebook. Where is it? Live remixed or where is it?
It's on Live remixed. It's both pages and the group. It's on Mark Wilkinson pages in the group. It's on YouTube and my LinkedIn. It's everywhere.
Oh, I've got it.
It's everywhere. So there's so many people jumping in. I promise to keep as many of you onto the screen with us as well, because this is great fun. And what a pleasure to see all three of you all here tonight, all to be a part of this straight talking. So I love having it here. So I'm going to start with Dean. Let's go, because I'm going to go around Dean, Max, Brandon. So let's go through. So let's do a quick fire round so that people can get to know you, because I've got a few funny nicknames from the record shop, which were like things like Sprocket and Stotty. Uncle Clipsy, Chesney, that was Charlie, wasn't it? Dean, did you get called Scratcher for Dean Thatcher?
Yeah, Scratcher, yeah.
Scratcher.
Blocko, of course, for Brandon Block. Bravesy, Fred for Phil Perry. He was called Fred Perry, wasn't he, or Phil Perry? Yeah. And then Max was just called Maxie Boy. And of course, Joe Millsy. And I'm going to get a part 3 of this together. I've just ruined the surprise for people now. I'm going to get Charlie, Joe, and Ali, and I'm going to try and find Clive. I'm not sure where Clive is, but I'm going to try and find him as well.
Clippy Clop.
Pete Walsh has got a message for you, by the way. He says it's on Babe Station as well.
Walshy.
Mark, before you start,
yeah.
Before you joined the flying, wasn't your nickname Piano Me Up Wilkie?
Well, I believe I was called Mark Piano Wilkinson by Bravesy. I think that was where that might have started. But surely my nickname before I joined flying was actually George and Mildred. Tristan.
Yeah, we mistakenly thought you were the kid, didn't we? And it was your mate, not you. Yeah.
Do you know where Bravesy came from? Bravesy, me.
Was it?
We was. I tell you what, we was in Ibiza with Scott. It's the first time we went. Remember that? Could Dina remember? Because Chester never took me out for the Ibiza 90. I went and did the looking out, finding everywhere with him, and he never brought me out. Anyway, we talk about that. But me, Rowie, and Scott played football with no ball in the street in San Ann. So Rowie was Roski, Bravesy was Bravesy, and I was Blotsky. Over here on my head, son. We was doing this for about 4 days. I stuck. Scott Braithwaite, wow.
I was Tristan. You all thought I was Tristan in George and Mildred, because I kind of looked a little bit, as I looked like the grown-up version. But I believe the actual guy that was the actor was a friend of Kevin Hurrey's. Anyway, long story short. Right, look, let's do this. Hang on. We got Lofty here. Tristan actually went to Full Circle. There you go. Yeah, it was Kevin Hurrey's. Yeah, Lofty's here. Lofty's here saying, good to see you, we'll be saying, Lofty.
That's right, lager snatcher.
Scratching the lager snatcher. So, look, right, I promised a quick fire round, right? Let's go through. I just want everyone to meet a little bit about you. So, let's go with Dean first, right? Dean, are you ready?
Yeah, go on.
Right, first of all, let's start with an easy one. Name.
Dean.
Age.
60.
60 years young.
No way.
Unbelievable. Right, occupation right now, mate.
Well, still DJ,
Yeah.
club promoter, and doing a couple of radio shows with people as well. Yeah.
Brilliant,
Yeah.
mate. So, favorite track ever? Can you pinpoint one?
John Barry, the theme from Midnight Cowboy.
Very nice.
Yeah.
What does it remind you of?
Well, it takes me anywhere I want to go.
Oh, that's a nice answer. I like that, mate. That's really cool. Okay, and then for some reason, something just popped into my head there as well. When I'm going to come back in a second, Dean. Something just reminded me of. I always remember Brandon. Didn't you used to play the theme from the Italian Job? Wasn't it the Self-Preservation Society?
Dean used to play Hawaii 5-0, mate. No, hey, I'm telling you, at the Beat Room, Heather took me one night when we was because I knew Dean before. I was very honoured to know Dean. We got there one night. Heather said, "Come along and see my boyfriend DJ," and I went, "All right." So I went along, and he's just incredible, man. He played some fantastic music, and I was dancing all night. We got absolutely hammered, but yeah. So Hawaii 5-0, mate.
We played some.
Yeah.
We've played some interesting tunes between us, haven't we? So right, let's keep going. Okay, so that was favourite track ever. And what's the worst tune ever? You think?
Well,
One
can it be anything, or is it a dance track?
anything you want, mate.
Anything associated with Simon Cowell.
All right.
Creature. Yeah.
Your favourite events, your favourite DJ, and your favourite events you played at, whatever.
Favourite clubs. Can I have two instead of one?
Yeah, you can.
So Flying Soho Theatre.
Yeah.
When it was in its heyday, you know. And also IB for Soul Week more recently.
Yeah, nice. Oh, yeah. I heard that was amazing. Yeah.
Really amazing. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, nice. Worst ever DJ gig.
Hollywood's Romford. Never again.
It's amazing how all those satellite clubs all the way around London.
Oh, mate.
They're all called like Hollywoods or LA or, you know. So
yeah.
Fair enough. I hear you, mate. I hear you. Okay. Last DJ gig that you did, mate.
My own night at Studio 45 at the Social in February.
Almost a year about.
Yeah, a year ago. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. How did you get into it all? How did you get into DJing and partying?
Just going out to clubs when I was like 15, 16 and, you know, buying records as early as I could with my milk round money, you know, and paper round money. And, you know, it was just natural progression, really.
Brilliant. Your first DJ idol, then?
It's got to be Wetherell.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Has to be.
I was looking at a thread today that Terry put a picture up of all the guys buying records in. I
saw that
in Italy, Rimini. Did you see it?
Yeah.
They were talking about when Wetherell bought Numero Uno, and it was like his big thing, wasn't it? And it was like, and I saw Terry write a comment today. Said it hasn't aged that well. And I'm like, you listen back to it, and you're like,
yeah. Well, it ended up being a big chart hit, didn't it?
It was massive. Yeah, it was massive. Yeah. That's how things happen, wasn't it? People broke records and they just shot up, didn't they?
Yeah, but there was a time when the only place you could get Numero Uno was Tracks, wasn't it? In
Greek Street? Greek Street.
And I think there might have been a fight at one point, a fabled fight over one copy, like the last copy. But
probably.
That's another story. We were lovers, not fighters. And all that, yeah. Right. Okay. So, time served in flying. How long were you there?
Well, from the first day, and then, when we started Cowboy, that's when I left the shop to run the label.
That's right. Yeah. That's
right. So I can't remember what year that was.
91.
91. 90. Okay. Yeah.
Was it?
I joined the record shop in about 1991, and I think you were already running the label, Dean. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Nice. Excellent. Okay. Wow. Okay. Who was the hardest worker?
Lofty.
Nice.
No hesitations.
Nice. Lovely. Excellent. Right, let's go around to
You're
Max.
the hardest worker to the Offian background.
Right, let's go around. Let's go to Max next. Max, name.
Neil. Robert.
Do you know what? I thought your name was Max for about 4 or 5 years. I mean, I honestly thought you were Max. And someone said Neil, and I went, who? And and it was you. And I was like, who's Neil? Who's Neil? I don't even know who Neil is. He's Max. Anyway, Neil Mackey. Thank you, mate. How old are you, mate?
59.
Occupation?
Music publisher, PPO collector, and private hire at night.
I've got the wrong thought. I know exactly what you're talking about, but I've got the wrong thought about private hire at night. Is out there. Right.
That's the five station.
Hold on. One sec. We've got something here. Look, wait. Chester says he was the hardest worker. Look. Hang on, wait. Oh no, it was Millsy. Okay. And Lofty says it was you, Max. There we go. Look at that. I love it. There's loads of people coming in. Joe's just saying, look, I miss you lot. That's beautiful. Paul saying, here we go. Stu says Rocky was the first to play the Ricks of Numero Uno, passionate Tudor Rose. Fair play. There's loads of people jumping in. Charlie saying, yes, lads. Yeah, brilliant. I love it. And Rob says he feels like he's one of those dodgy chat lines.
Rob Ross, sausage jockey. Go on, Robbie.
Anyway, right, where was I? Max. Okay, favourite track ever, Max?
David Bowie Heroes.
Nice, lovely. What does it remind you of?
Belton Kings Bowl, and it also reminds me of Dean, actually.
Wembley. We went to Wembley, didn't we?
Yeah, and I only just met him that day, and on leaving, I saw a certain Dean wobbling around the bottom trying to find a way out. So I was him. I went all the way back down and grabbed him. He was so grateful. I ended up crashing at his place that night.
So nice. So that's favourite track ever. What's worst track ever, Max? Worst track ever?
Oh God! And from my era, the 70s. Oh my God! There's numerous ones.
What about all those 90s B-sides, the Italian imports? What about those?
Oh God! There was. I would say Flying is probably responsible. Flying Italy was responsible for some of the worst bloody Italian records ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah. So, best events you've been to, Max? You got a few, or you got one?
Yeah, loads. 1980, the Soul Brighton Beach Party, Chris Hills. Yeah. 94, Sound Factory with Rocky. Just mad, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, he said that as well, actually. He said 94. That night at the Sound Factory you guys went. I went a couple of years later, but he said the one with Vasquez that you went to was incredible.
He literally dragged out backwards. It was just... I was like, not going.
Have you got any others?
I think we were to... Pardon?
Have you got any others?
What else got? I forgot now.
What about
the
this
mystery tour we went to, Max?
Oh, yeah, yes.
That was eventful.
Yeah.
You shared this one with me, Max, as well. You did share this one with me, and it did make me laugh. Boys only Squinsted, turning round and finding you were dancing next to a Frisian cow. And he's not joking. He's absolutely...
I was really shocked.
That was the moment. So obviously you're not a DJ, but your worst gigs, your worst nights out?
Oh, well, we went up and down the country with everyone and shared their misery in many ways. And what was even worse is that sometimes I couldn't get in the DJ place, so I had to wander around for 2 hours. Like
it wasn't all glamour, was it? It wasn't all glamour.
Terrible nightclub. Yeah, it was awful.
Right, okay. And your first, how did you get into partying, I should say?
Heather.
So who is Heather?
Is responsible for all my woes.
Mrs. Thatcher. Oh, so Heather.
Heather, Mrs. Thatcher, yes.
Brilliant. And how did you get into working at the record shop?
Well, I don't know, actually. Charlie, basically, one day, I was in the wine trade, and the wine trade and the going out were heading together like two steam trains, and I was going to get derailed at some stage. And luckily, like, Charlie just said to me, "Oh, we need some help," obviously, because Dean was going to get a Cowboy, and so I joined.
So Charlie got you in a headlock, marched you into the shop, and you never left, yeah?
Charlie thought there was going to be 3 cases of wine.
Ah, yeah, exactly.
Bit of a culture shock, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm sure it was, mate. I'm sure it was. Yeah, it was an interesting time. We were reminiscing last week about those big Friday nights out, and then ending up on those really nice padded record bags with the jackets. Do you remember, like, you had like 2 hours kip, and you're going to work on a Saturday, and you're like, "Oh, I'll just have a little lay down." Let's have a little lay down in the back office, and then you're out for like 2 hours, and you're like, "Oh." But we all covered for each other. So don't worry, it was all good. So your first DJ idol, Max?
Was Chris Hill.
Nice. Yeah.
And Tony Humphries.
Yeah. Do you remember the Tony Humphries mixtapes that we used to get from the shop next door in Kensington?
Well, I can better that for Mark Wilkie, that I actually ended up in Tony Humphries' kitchen in Orange County. Was it orange? I want it to be orange. Was it orange? No. Jim went over there with Kevin from Blake's. And when he found out it was my sort of hero, he took us there.
So he put you back to his place. Nice.
Yeah, we popped round there.
Popping round Tones, no problem.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Right. Okay. So what time? Yeah, time served in flying.
About 2.5 years old.
I would say the next question is who's the hardest worker, but it was you, Max. You were there 24/7, mate. We couldn't get you out of there. You would literally just stay there. I mean, you'd work like 7 days a week if we would let you. Anyway, yeah, okay. And tell. Oh, I forgot to ask Dean this one actually, but Max, tell us something that most people don't know about you. Does someone adopt you as a brother?
When Heather's drunk, I am her adopted brother.
Dean, tell us something that most people don't know about you.
Well, it was that I ended up with pneumonia.
We're going to come on to that. We're going to come on.
So we'll talk about that later. Yeah.
Save that one, yeah, because I know what I've actually written down on my piece of paper here is something about Dean, Brandon, and Max. Is that they've all ended up in hospital at certain times of their journey. So we've got a common thread between all 3 of you, and we're going to touch on that, of course, because it's about remixing your life and actually like improving it. But each one of you's had your own shave with the NHS. But let's move on. Brandon, name?
Brandon.
How old are you, mate?
53.
Occupation?
Actually, so DJ and mental health worker now.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got you down in my book as author, goal mapping coach, and smart recovery trainer.
Well, you can say that. Yeah.
You're all of those things, mate. You've got a lot going on and more, and all power to you, mate. Like we spoke about last time. Although I may have to embarrass you one more time because there's a lot of different people watching this time about the time you turned up at my studio, but we'll come on to that, mate.
You can say what you want. Out of my control.
So, okay, what's your favourite track ever, mate?
Probably George Benson Love Ballad.
Lovely. Yeah. You're consistent because that was your question last time. It's a beauty. Well done. I love it. Worst tune ever, mate?
Oh dear. As Max said, there's so many to choose from. I don't. Do you know what, Mark? It's really difficult to say. Stop the Cavalry, Jonah Louis.
we had Lofty on last week telling about like people like when you were doing the Italian orders and they'd play tunes down the phone to you and you'd be like listening as hard as you could. Like I can't really hear, but I'll have 100 of those. Yeah, that'd be fine. Yeah.
You're talking about the Italian disco stuff, but you know what? I heard Weatherall play numero at Henry's in Burnham Beeches on a Tuesday night, and followed quickly by Sound Shaft. No, Sound. What was it? Oh man, come on, Sound Source Master.
Yeah.
He played that play afterwards. That was incredible, man. So yeah, numero uno. Top.
But what's funny as well, we've got a couple of guys that are joining us, and I'm going to start putting some other people up on the screen as well. But Max, you also used to sell the mail order, and you used to do a lot of the mail order orders, and you used to play music down the phone to people, didn't you? To say, like, do you like this one?
That's right. Until they trusted me and they gave me.
Yeah. That was true. We'll come on to that as well. But yeah, it's a beauty. Max doing the mail orders to like Hong Kong, and is it good? You like, listen to this. Oh, the wonders of the internet now, eh? Right. So, where were we? Okay, best events or best DJ gigs, Brandon?
Well, as Dean said, flying at Sophia was wicked. Space in Ibiza was, incredible. So those two really,
Yeah.
and Haven Stables on Sunday lunchtimes was quite a laugh. To be honest.
From Space in Ibiza to Haven Stables in Ealing, we've done them all. We've done
them all. We've travelled the world, mate. We've travelled the world.
So, well, here's a beauty. This will get you, Brandon. Worst DJ gig.
Actually, it wasn't so long ago, to believe it or not, and it was a something social club in Norwich. I can't remember the name of the first time, but it was, oh dear, it was a frightening one.
Mine was a corker. Mine was in Bridlington. I touched on it last week. It was 5-hour drive to get there from London, where I was in London. 5 hours to get there. Got to the back of the pub. There was like about 5 people there. I played 2 records. They gave me my money, and we drove back 5 hours. You know what I mean? It was just...
I similar turnout. It was just I don't know what. Yeah, it was one of them.
It was one of them. But hey, look, you got to take the rough with the smooth, haven't you? Do you know?
Listen, I'm very grateful for where I am. It's been a fantastic journey.
That's right, mate. Me too. So, last DJ gig that you did?
I did one in. Actually, I did one just before the third lockdown 2, 3, in McQueen's in London. But again, it's social. I'll tell you it's a funny story though. Quickly, you'll love this, Dino. Excuse me. So. They said, right, you can't, it's all 6 feet apart. You've got to sit at different tables and all that. So it's one of those, like a Prosecco afternoon until all the ladies are getting rather drunk and that. So all the bouncers are trying to keep them sitting down and saying, you can't get up, you can't get up. So I played Oops Upside Your Head. And they all sat down and danced on the floor. And they went, no, what are you doing? You can't do it either. I said, no, we can. You can't stand. And they all sat on the floor doing that.
You are a smart cookie, my friend. Smart cookie.
You can't stand up and do it. We're going to sit down and do it. Don't worry about that.
I heard Terry. I saw Terry a few weeks ago, up in London, and he said that they were having the same sort of problem with, because people want to dance and get up and all that, don't they? And apparently, I think it was Notting Hill Carnival back in the summer, and Stuart Patterson was on the microphone shouting like, "This is COVID, not Carnival. You've got to sit down." Anyway, look, let's move on. Time served in flying, Brandon.
About 3.5 weeks.
We'll come on to why you left in a bit, right? Okay.
Now, God, will that be safe? For God's sake, come on, for terrible for 3.5 weeks. No, I'm joking. We're going to tell the story about how we started flying, right? We'll get into
that's
that.
What we're coming on to next. That's what we're coming into next. Definitely.
Maybe a bit longer, maybe about 2 months. I think. I don't know. It wasn't a big part of my career.
You're not retiring on it, are you? Let's be honest.
Show us the gold watch.
Yeah, I'm not even going flying anywhere, for God's sake, on it.
Oh, that's amazing. And tell us something that most people don't know about you, Brandon.
Well, I suppose. Well, actually, they probably do know. No, not that. I've got 3 cats.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I didn't know that about you, Brandon. Thanks very much for sharing. That's nice.
There you go.
You're a cat man. Let's leave it there.
I'm a cat man.
So someone shared this last week, and it's a little bit of poetry, but I'm going to say it anyway because we're going to talk about the shop, and then let's talk about the origins as well. But I love this, and I said it last week, but I'm going to say it again because there are lots of new people watching, which I'm going to share with you in a sec. The smell of incense, dusty military wear, and the distant thump of the latest Italian import. is something that Flying Records in Kensington kind of encompasses all of that and more. But how did we get there? How did it all really kick off? Before my time, 88, 89, what was the thing? I guess it was Blocko and Dean mainly at that stage, wasn't it?
What? How did the club start?
How did the club start? Turned into the record shop that turned into this.
Well, I had a night in the villa in Uxbridge called Flying, and me and Brandon at some point we decided to do a night, didn't we, Brandon? It was
Queens, yeah, Queens. On a Tuesday.
We couldn't think what to call it, and I already had some artwork with Flying written on it. So I was like, should we call it Flying? And so we did. Perfect. And we did. I think it was the first week. Was that? Am I right, Brandon? We did the first week, and it was heaving, weren't it? And
mobbed.
It was absolutely packed. And I can't remember who played with us. Can you remember?
Andy Weatherall, Rocky and Diesel, you, me. I think it was Phil. Of course, Phil, because it was at Queens. Yeah.
Usually not Queens, was it?
And it went nuts. And then after that, we were like, right, this is gonna, we're gonna run with this. And we decided we wanted to concentrate on the music, didn't we, Brad? And so said to Charlie, do you want to handle that side of it? And we'll concentrate on the music side of it. And then Charlie came in. And so it was me, Brandon, and Charlie. And then it went on. I think it became every week, didn't it? Am I right?
We did it every week, and it was a Tuesday night. Ali did the door, and
Ali was your mate. Me and Charlie didn't even know Ali, did we?
And we drove up there that night in this mental Renault he had. It was fantastic. We're all over the gap. The steering rack had gone, so he was driving like that. But anyway, so you can imagine. But it was amazing. And then Charlie, so that was it. And it went every week, and it became very, very busy. And Charlie did an incredible, just a wonderful job. But it's sacked me.
So that was every Tuesday night. That was every Tuesday night.
That was a while down after the record shop, but yeah, it was Tuesday night. Every Tuesday night at Queens. And we obviously because Phil was doing Queens on Sunday, and me and Dean had we'd done the thing obviously Dean did the thing at the Villa, so we wanted to do a Tuesday. Bruce had said to us, "Come on, do a night."
That was right. Bruce, yeah.
And we said to Phil, and he said, "Look, I don't mind doing it." And then I think Charlie actually just mentioned, "Why don't you get into play?" And we went, "Oh, cool, good idea." Because we weren't great, so we did. And Phil played, Andy Weatherall, Rocky and Diggs, and me and Dean, and then that was fantastic. As he said, it was chocker. That was
the time when you could put on a club night pretty much any night of the week, maybe even a Tuesday night.
Every night.
Be packed,
well,
right?
we used to finish Flying on the Tuesday night, and then all go around Charlie's house in Hayes, didn't we? So they'd all go around Charlie's house in Hayes, stay up all night. And then the next day, go to the Hacienda in Manchester, didn't we? For Wednesdays at the Hacienda.
There was one night, right? So we'd finished Flying, and we'd hilarious. We needed our money, me and Dean, but Charlie had left already to go to the dry bar because he was running the dry bar at the house. Me and Dean went, "I'm skint." He went, "I'm skint as well." And our mate Justin said, "Well, we'll drive you up to Manchester." And we drove, and we went straight then from Flying straight to the Manchester, found a hotel. Oh man, played in the dry bar the next night. And then the Hacienda that night. Remember, Void, Graham Park, and mad.
We're going to touch on some of the other sort of tour nights and where it got to, like Venus and Middlesbrough. I seem to remember one time one of you came out of Middlesbrough and got a taxi back to London because you'd missed the flight. That might have been Charlie, actually. I'm not sure. One of you.
Probably him.
Yeah, probably Charlie. Yeah.
One of you came out of the club and was like, "Oh no, I've missed the flight. I've been up all night. I'll just get a cab." It might be Charlie. He'll confirm it.
That was the arena, right?
That's right, and we'll come on to that in a bit. Let me. They've got so many comments coming up, chaps. Let me just throw a few out to you here. So Rick Daly's just saying, "Loving it, chaps."
Would always be. Lovely, Julie.
Really Curly saying, "So lovely to see all your faces."
Julie used to be in the Flying office with us.
There you go.
Julie, of course.
Julie, there she is, looking lovely in a wedding dress there, Julie. I know it's very, very impressive. I like that. And Paul Parsons is saying bonjour. Emma Emily's just saying FFS. I know exactly what she's talking. I don't know why, but anyway, that's all good. And then Mick Robinson's here. Mick's here. Look, Ginger Mick. So he's saying hello. That's amazing. This is a comment about your football match in Ibiza, I believe. Might be something like about the ball, Brandon.
Dear.
John Lawrence is saying you haven't aged at all, chaps. I think he might be after something, because I'm sure we do look a little bit older. It's all good. And Justine is saying you look fab, Mr. Thatcher.
Oh, thank you, Just.
And Jeff Jefferson from Money Pennies is saying hi, guys.
Hi, Jeff.
Lorraine Smith is saying hi, hello from Laney.
And Laney,
yeah.
We've got so many. It's beautiful. It's absolutely amazing. All these comments that come in. We've got Dale saying hello.
Hello,
Dale.
Yeah. And we've got Charlie as the hardest worker, which and Julie and Joe have all said they're the hardest workers. That's fine.
I've got to tell you that story about him, the hardest worker. God.
Go on.
I think Dale was an hard worker.
Yeah, but listen, it's the day I got sacked, right? This is it. This is Charlie.
Why did you get sacked?
So I went out one night with Charlie on the Friday, and I was working Saturdays in the shop. We stayed out all night. Because I stayed out with him and got drunk, he sacked me.
I don't think there was a record shop union at that.
He said, I can't trust you. You're not reliable enough. We're still up in the morning. You can't go in anymore. What? Joking? No. And that was it. I rang Lofty up and he went, "Oh no, I've had it from the governor. You can't come in."
the end of your illustrious 8 weeks. Right, we got Nigel. We got Nigel who's saying good evening. Craig saying that he bloody bought most of the dodgy imports that we somewhat sold at the time. There was some good stuff in there too, Craig. I'll have you know. Heather's watching. Of course. Hello, Heather. Loving all your support. And Heather's actually some of the catalyst of managing to get this to happen with Dean as well. I'm most grateful to Heather. She's done a brilliant job. Dale's just saying Max, the Zap Club, Brighton for Tony Humphreys. Yeah.
Definitely one of them, the mad nights. Dale, me and her went on many road trips together.
Yeah, I do remember that. I do remember Keith from last week saying, looking great, chap, looking good, chaps. He's loving it. Everyone's talking to everyone else in here as well. It's brilliant. Fiona from Sign of the Times.
Hey. Hi, Fiona.
Brilliant. Fiona's been a big supporter of this, and she's been sharing it on Instagram and getting excited and she's loving the whole kind of premise of the Kensington Market Days and everything else as well. Because obviously Sign of the Times was huge there as well, right?
Yeah. She was upstairs on the top floor, wasn't she?
That's right, absolutely.
You had to go past there to come down, didn't you? That was brilliant. Fantastic, guys.
Jason Keenan's giving us a good evening. There's Jason. Lovely. And John Jones is here. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So many people are chatting in here as well. It's fantastic. So look, I'm loving the whole thing. So as far as actually the record shop, then, so whose idea was that? Because Dean, you did some work in another shop, or you were?
I was working in John Jules's shop.
So was I. That's
the disco centre.
I worked with you, didn't I?
Yeah, that's right. You was Dunmore.
Dunmore
was in as well, Simon Dunmore. So we was all in there, and it was just the success of the club, and everybody was spending all their wages on records, basically, weren't they? Records and going out and so I think the record shop came about. It was probably Charlie come up, like, let's open a record shop. It must have been Charlie. And I said to John, look, we're going to open a flying shop in London, and thanks for training me up.
He's watching, that. I've got to tell you.
John was double cool about it all and all that, and it was great. And from the first day it opened, it was just rammed. It was a complete success, like you say, the joss sticks and the dodgy caretaker guy.
Oh, Bob.
Yeah, I can't remember what his name was, but yeah.
Max, do you remember Bob?
Yes, I can. I want to, remembering, but I can, yes.
There's some characters. There were some characters in Kensington Market for sure. In fact, Karen's here as well. Karen, you remember Karen Goldie? Karen's just saying, Max, legend. There we go. You remember Karen? Brilliant. That's amazing. Yeah, there were some real characters in Kensington Market. There's always one that I remember. It was the Indian girl with the wig shop. Remember the Indian girl from the wig shop? Downstairs in the basement. You had to go past this wig shop. She was on the right, and we went onto the left into the basement shop of Flying Records. And she was lovely. She was very, very attractive, very, very beautiful. And we all fancied her, but we're all like 18, 19, 20, like, you know, being a bit. And Max was like the coolest customer, and she absolutely loved Max. And I think you might have ended up on a date with her, Max, didn't you? I'm not giving too much away there, but yeah. I'm not putting you on the spot. But any other memories? I mean, obviously from Kensington Market, we've got Fiona, as you said. We've got Hyper across the road.
You had the hairdressers on the top floor. Paul Daly used to work in there. You know, went on to be in left field.
Yeah.
There was quite a lot of people working there. I'm just trying to think who it was now. But I worked there many, many years ago before that. And there was on a punk stall selling punk T-shirts. And the little stall was called Blues, spelled BLOOZ. And it wasn't just T-shirts.
No. What colour were the T-shirts, Dean?
Mainly blue.
Amazing. Yeah, sorry, Max, you said Anna, didn't you, the hairdresser?
Anna Moxon, she was in right opposite us in the archives.
I remember long blonde hair. She used to work with us. Yeah, absolutely. We've got a load more coming in. Lofty saying Karen Dunn. Let's not forget Karen Dunn. She was the glue that held some stuff together. Ben saying love all this. Jason is saying funny stories, love it. Evening, gents. And Denise is saying loved you lot coming to Belfast. Some crack. So there's loads more stuff coming in. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about, because it did mushroom, didn't it? I mean, it mushroomed. I mean, Charlie, to be absolutely fair to him, as Lofty said last week, Charlie was like, you know, I mean, he created something through his energy and what he was doing, and the whole buzz of flying and the junior boys own, or boys own as it was, and the whole thing that was going on. I mean, you know, all of a sudden, we all found ourselves DJing, didn't we? Well, apart from Max, but Max was partying with us and selling the records and stuff like that. But we all found ourselves in far-flung locations, not just in the UK, but worldwide. But the UK tours particularly were things like Middlesbrough Arena, obviously up at Newcastle with your Shindig lads, Canal Club in Wolverhampton, and then Rimini and Ibiza. There's the farm, the whole stuff with the Astoria, Dingwalls, and the Venus coach trips, which I do have a question for you about, Dino, in a minute. But any memories that are just stirred up by Blocko? I've got my question for you.
Yeah, I mean, the Venus coach trips, you know, especially, you know, we used to meet in the villa. Yeah. And I think the first time we did it, it was one coach. And I think by the last time, was it 4 coaches?
Yeah. That's incredible.
4 coaches.
We met in the villa, and then we had an overflow in the gardeners.
Yeah.
And everyone was in the gardens. Too many people in the villa, and then everyone in the gardeners' arms.
I'll tell you what. One of the most memorable trips was we went to Thorpe Park, and we went to Thorpe Park for the afternoon.
Oh, right,
and
yes.
And we let's just say microdots, right? We went to Thorpe Park, and I remember Karen Dunn. We went on this ride, and it was like a Big Dipper, but it was in a mountain. It was something or other mountain. It was this Big Dipper, and Karen screaming like you've never heard. And then we left Thorpe Park, all still quite blurry and what have you, and we went to this bar, and we were playing in this bar, and it had a big banner up saying welcome soft southern. so we went and played in this, I think it was Dry Bar, probably the Dry Bar, and then we went to the Hacienda, and then the coaches took us back I don't know, 5 o'clock in the morning or whatever, all back to the villa. Yeah, that was a coach trip and a half.
I've got a question for you, Brandon. It's coming from a friend of ours, Will Nichol, and he says a question for Mr. Block. Can he remember dancing on the bar at Venus and letting the record run out? He used to attend a lot to Venus, and he always remembers that moment where you were playing. Obviously, it must have been towards the last record, and you just let a record play out because you were dancing on the bar. Do you remember this?
Yes, I do vividly, because I remember. So Dean will remember this as well. So we had this picture we used to carry around with us, right, called the Governor. Right, and the story around the Governor is, right, it was Lisa Loud, Lisa Rand, Dino, Baggy, God rest his soul, and Rocket, and a few of the others we was all knocking around with. And we went to this pub the pub, it's called Horse and Barge in Harefield. It's quite popular around this area. Anyway, went in there after one day at flying, and on the wall, the owner of the pub had his picture on the wall with Governor at the bottom, and we thought that was a bit narcissistic, so we nicked it. So we nicked the picture, and Baggy stuck it down his dungarees. We walked out of it, but we walked around Clubland with this picture for the next 2 or 3 years, holding it aloft, going, "The Governor's here!" And everyone goes, "Oh, the Governor!" So anyway, this night we went to Venus. We had the Governor. The Governor had his own seat on the coach, right? No one could sit in the seat with the Governor. So we got to the flying, and it was Venus was just the most incredible club ever. So I was playing upstairs, and I love playing up the bar. And I think I played Shalimar. There it is, the last record, right?
Okay.
And it did run out, and the Governor was up the top of the wall, and he got nicked. And it was uproar. We was crying. We was all going, "Where's the Governor gone?" And it was terrible. But it was the best coach trips, incredible coach trips.
So you've answered the question here, because Will says, does he know which record ran out? So you think it might be Shalimar. He said it may be Generations of Love or a remix of Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick. So there's a bit of, but if it could well be Shalimar, mate. Who knows? Who knows? It was a long time ago, and there might be a bit of a hazy issue going.
Well, look, I remember dancing on the bar till the record ran out. Tell him, yes, wonderful memories.
Lofty last week made a fantastic point that he went through, Lofty's like the school of like DJing, and he said he followed Francois Kevorkian's kind of like thing, which was like a great DJ goes on, packs the floor, empties the floor, and then packs the floor again. Only he kept forgetting to do the last bit, right? So he was clearing it. But this is the part of the question to Will, which is why I remember it. And by the way, Lofty's a great DJ, and I love him, and he's a good, fantastic mate. But Will might be giving you a bit too much credit here, Brandon, because he says, was it an attempt to bring the temperature down, as per Lofty's Francois K, because it had the opposite effect? Because everyone started stomping, obviously, and cheering and stuff. And did the promoter tell you off afterwards? But I suppose it was the last record. It probably didn't, right? But
well, no, because it was Charlie, wasn't it? How's he going to tell me off?
He's not going to sack you, is he?
He's part of my club, mate. You can't tell me off for DJing in my own bloody club.
He sacked you once already, right? So
you can't get sacked twice.
No, hang on. So this is beautiful as well. This is beautiful from Julian. We must pay absolute respect here. Big love to Steve.
Yeah, big love to Saunders. Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. He held the office together. Yeah, along with Billy. He was. And I remember when the record shop opened, when Cowboy started it, I think it was, and me and Steve went around the country for a week. And we went to visit whatever shop it was with Leeds, had a night out with Dave Beer, whatever shop it was in Nottingham, had a night out with James Bailey. And we did the whole country for a week. And that was an adventure as well.
There's so many here. So Stuart's saying the only tunes he can actually remember buying from Flying were Asher JJ Tribute. I remember that. Yeah. And White Labels. Yeah, absolutely. Hang on. We've got an esteemed guest as well. Hold up.
Evening, Danny.
Danny, good evening, Danny Rampling joining us. Thank you, Danny. That's fantastic.
Hello, Danny.
Hello, mate.
And Danny's been kind enough to write part of the Forward to Life remix, the book as well, which is beautiful. And what a time to be alive. That's what Danny always says about that time we were doing and we were involved in. And beautiful times, right? Absolutely beautiful times.
Yeah.
Hang on. Charlie's putting us right on a couple of things here. Charlie's saying 9 coaches. 9 coaches.
Wow, how great.
Was it really? Bloody hell.
Yeah.
What, 9 coaches from Uxbridge?
Yeah, apparently so. That's what he's saying.
I'm flying and Uxbridge.
And then we've got Farm at the
Astoria. Oh, mate, what a night that was. Remember, I got on stage, didn't I, with Peter Hooton. Do you remember he sang at the end?
Yeah.
All together now.
let's be honest, Brandon. Let's be honest. It wasn't your only time getting onto stages, was it?
Yeah, but that was a more important one. That was funny.
When you went up to accept your Brit Award, is stuff of legend as well, mate. But yeah, of course, farm at this story. That was you were just warming up at the farm at this story, but for the main event at the Brits, I'm sure. But here we go. John saying, I just remember Max popping up on the dance with his flowing locks. Remember your flowing locks, Max? They were nice, weren't they?
Yeah.
All the girls love that. Danny's giving it a Venus coach trip to Nottingham. I went up on the coach and decided not to travel back. As a mate had a car and he went back to London, he stayed off the coach for safety.
Oh.
I think Lofty said last week, what happens on the coach stays on the coach. Yeah, and I think that's true. We got Boy Jingo says Venus, what a club. Charlie's remembering. Where's Charlie gone there? Charlie's remembering the governor. He remembers.
Yeah, mate. The governor.
Chris Sweet's with us. James Bailey talking about Venus. Respect to all the flying crew. Best shop. High Street Kensington parties, and respect to everyone, and Charlie, of course. And yes, part 3 of this will be Charlie, Joe, and Ali, and hopefully Clive, if I can track him down. So that would be amazing. That would be amazing. We're just scrolling through. It's beautiful. It's amazing the fantastic stuff that's coming through. Sam Barry, great times when the coaches arrive.
Stair skiing. Stan, we invented stair skiing in Hayes. One.
Amazing. It's some fantastic feedback here, lads. And Scott Bradford, remember Scott from Newcastle?
Yeah, cool. Scott and Scotty.
Scott and Scooby, and Dale's just confirming that they were very messy. Yeah, yes, indeed they were. Indeed they were. We were young and we were carefree, weren't we? So, but yeah, I mean, those nights out were absolutely legendary. But I mean, as far as like far-flung locations goes and stuff like that, I mean, Max, where did you end up? Where was the sort of furthest, most remote you ended up with any of us?
Well, Miami, I presume. Hong Kong, but that was for a music festival thing.
By the way, Rob has just said that you've tidied up the office behind you. By the way, he's quite impressed. So I just want you to know that. But Miami. Let's talk about Miami. Great nights out in Miami. Any memories?
I never went. I never went Miami.
No, I didn't either.
Okay, Max, I've got one for you, Max. I think if you were there, Tenaglia with that huge sort of searchlight out into the dance floor. Do you remember when he did the first one at the place? Was that just me?
The Masters of Work party when they had Roy Ayres and everything all jamming on stage. That barbecue was just amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. And then Karen's saying here, I remember trying to buy the latest promos from Flying to ship to DMC, but ended up one of the best party itineraries ever. Because Karen used to come in and also buy records, I think, for the Italian DJs as well. And I mean, Max as well. I mean, you used to mail order all over the world, didn't you?
Yeah, but I think Scott Bradford was one of my very first actual proper mail order customers I had.
I got a DJ gig from you via you, Max, because I helped you with a mail order to Lee Burridge in Hong Kong. And I helped you with this thing. We put together, he was buying like 500 quid worth of records and we shipped the whole thing. And I helped you with it. And I spoke to him on the phone. And next thing you know, he's ringing me up to go out there for a DJ gig. And that was chaos. I mean, Max, to be honest, you probably should have been a DJ, to be honest, because
I was just thinking that as well. Why? Yeah.
Why didn't you?
Person that ever worked in the shop that didn't DJ?
I know. I think it's actually because there's deafness in my family.
Okay.
And I think that was one of the reasons.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I think we're all a bit. We might all be going a bit mutton there anyway, to be honest now. So yeah, it's a fair point. But yeah, we used to pump the sounds up pretty loud, didn't we, all the time? In fact, I remember being in a record shop and we'd be blasting it at different times. We'd have other people in the market, like other vendors coming to us going, lads, like just turn it down.
Saturday afternoons, people used to come in with bottles of wine and stuff, didn't they?
Yeah, and
Saturday afternoons, it was like a little club.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Saturday afternoons.
Yeah.
And you remember you could smoke in there? They were saying it last week.
Yeah.
you can smoke in there, and it was just like, it was like a disco in itself, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah, totally.
There must have been a few people who come round to their senses on a Saturday and realised they bought some awful Italian records because we knew where the dodgy breaks were.
Some awful imports.
Take it off just as it hit that terrible rap.
As it went into the awful,
Go up.
the awful Italian pidgin English rap. You were like, oh no, yeah,
There was some bad raps, yeah.
Well, to be fair, I couldn't rap in Italian, so yeah, I mean, but they were having a go, weren't they? They were having a go. I've got a few more here. Charlie's just saying, go Danny. He's chuffed that Danny Rampling's with us. Outdoor Masters at Work, best party, unbelievable. Yes, Max from Lofty. And then hang on, I remember getting on the coach back to London after Venus and went to a fly, and I ended up staying at Charlie's house and then taught how to stair dive by Brandon. Is that something that you're particular?
Stair skiing. We started stair skiing, so we just used to throw ourselves on down the stairs on our fronts.
Well, yeah, why not?
Oh, well, it seemed the right wise thing to do at the time. I'm sure Sam will agree with me there.
Seemed like a good idea at the time. That's right, mate. I pretty much can put most of my life down to that, to be fair. Yeah, sales tactics. We certainly used to do a few sales tactics. Got to hear it in a club. That was always a winner in the record shop, wasn't it? You know. But I mean, as far as starting Cowboy, let's just touch on Cowboy Records as well, because Cowboy Records actually had released some really great tracks. I mean, my personal favourite as a bit of a soul boy was Secret Life, as always. I thought that was just a great cover version, and there was Farley and Hella mixes that were done on the dub and all that kind of stuff. I personally loved that. But of course, Dean, the Aloof started there, right?
Yeah. Well, what happened was I did Never Get Out of the Boat. Me and Jags did Never Get Out of the Boat, and pressed up a white label and sold it through the shop in Flying. And then Pete Tong came in one day, and he said, "I want to sign your record." And it was a bit like, oh,
he was at FFRR, right?
That's right. He was at FFRR, yeah. So did the deal. Went to his office, did the deal. That was that, and then didn't do a follow up straight away, and then by the time it kind of come round, it was by the time we made something, we kind of Cowboy was being talked about and all the rest of it, so it just naturally went to Cowboy. And so there was the one single that was just a white label that went to FFRI, and then it was Cowboy from then on. Yeah, for a couple of years. Yeah.
I want to sort of touch on the Aloof and everything that went around that as well, if you don't mind, Dean.
Yeah.
Because we're here to talk a little bit, obviously, about we're here to reminisce. I mean, believe it or not, we've been on here for nearly an hour already. I mean, the time flies, right? It's incredible to have you all here and talk about this stuff. But we've all been through our own sort of separate challenges. Of course, I've written it in Life Remixed, and the book's coming out in a couple of weeks. And we're going to come on to Dean and Max and Blocko as well. But I mean, we've all had our stint in hospital. But why don't you tell us a little bit about the success that happened first and foremost because the Aloof blew up, and you were the producer, right? I mean, producing and songwriting. And it blew up properly. We did all the festivals, was touring all around the planet. We had a lot of success, especially live, because once we signed to Warner Brothers, they said to me that you've got to take it live. And I was like, well, I don't want it to be just a couple of guys behind a keyboard. If we're going to do it live, I want a band and rehearsals, everything. And they agreed to that. So formed a band. And of course, all the festivals really liked that. So we got booked everywhere. And it was great. It was brilliant. It was lots and lots of fun, going just everywhere I can think of. And but it took its toll. I mean, in 96, we'd done more gigs than any other British band that year. Wow. We had no time off. It was just, and when we did get any time off, it was straight back in the studio and carry on recording again. So Dean. Sorry, Dean, to interrupt you slightly, because you told me when we did a little call about this at the weekend. Just describe that sort of like that night out. So you're there, you sound check at midday almost, yeah.
Yeah. So you arrive in let's say Berlin, for instance. You arrive in Berlin, you sound check at midday. You have something to eat, bit of lunch, and then the promoter gives you your rider, which is just untold free drink, basically. And then you try and keep it a little bit together before you go on stage and do your gig. And then you do your gig, then you come off stage, and then there's just a dressing room just full of booze. And everybody wants to have a party. And because people have made such an effort for the gig, put it on and everything, you can't just say, oh, no, I'm having a night off tonight. So
I'm going to bed. I'm off to bed.
Yeah. And you're buzzing anyway because you just come off stage.
Yeah.
So then there's a big party till say 3-4 in the morning, something like that. And then you get back on your tour bus, and there was 18 of us on the tour bus because there was all the lighting technicians and the sound men and all that. So there's 18 of us on a sleeper bus, and it had 2 lounges on it as well. So you get back on the bus, and then you're up till you pass out, really. And then you go to your bunk, and then you arrive in the next city at about 10 o'clock in the morning, wake up, and then you've got sound check in a couple of hours' time. And so it just goes on and on and on like that. And at the end of it, I ended up with pneumonia and ended up in hospital, frightened the life out of Heather, which then made me, I had to really kind of think about what I was doing. And so I had to calm it down, really, really calm it down.
What age were you about then, Dean?
So I would have been 36.
Yeah, right. So mid
36, yeah.
But you'd obviously peaked a bit there, and I mean, and just hearing that, I saw Brandon's face, but all of us were like, because that constant, that's going to take its time.
Well, it was a constant, and we had. By that time, we also took guest DJs with us. Yeah. And on that particular tour, the one I got ill, was Chris Needs was on the bus with us. and it was just before Christmas, and One Night Stand had gone in the charts. And we'd just come off stage in Edinburgh, got the news that it was a hit. And so we come off stage, we're soaking wet. We went outside, and snow everywhere. And the rest of the lads decided to snowball me. So I was absolutely covered in snow as well, and soaking wet from coming off the stage. And hence it all kicked in.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and it was, but once I kind of got it together, I missed a few gigs, obviously. And then for the next couple of years doing like Glastonbury and stuff like that, I had to behave at festivals like that. So I could have like a couple of cans of lager, but I couldn't go near any spirit. Yeah. Not to mention anything else. Do you know what I mean? I had to really. So that was pretty tough, but it was still an amazing experience.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, going through that experience was like my friend calls these kind of experiences that we have like nature's handbrake, because it's literally like, right, hold on,
Yeah.
And you did mention obviously that Heather was really you've been together. I mean, you guys have been together since you were teenagers.
Since '87.
It's 87. Wow. I mean, let's have a little round of applause. A round of applause for that.
Going old ungracefully.
Yeah, you've done a brilliant job, mate. And I mean, at the end of the day, to see that worry on her face must have been quite a challenge for you.
Yeah, I mean, that shook me up more, I think, than the actual condition.
Yeah, right.
And that was right. You got to get it together now, and but it did, but it didn't stop the fun. You can still have fun.
I still enjoy music. I mean, the fact that every single one of us listened to music when we were kids, and we were like, wow, this is something that I love, and we've managed. We've all managed to forge careers and do all sorts of things.
Well, even at the age of 60, I'm fortunate enough to do a radio show with Richard Epps once a week, And then I got a radio show on TWR, which is my club night every Saturday night, DJing clubs when I can. So, you know, I'm still in the thick of it, but more on the soul scene, and loving it. You know, it's they call us saga louts.
I like that a lot. So Alex Savage is saying hello, lads. I'm not sure who this would be, but it says the off-license 100 yards from Villa was the first stop for the coaches.
Yes, that's right. You guys stopped up, didn't you?
The owner ran out of stock after the first coach.
Yeah, it was next door to the Gardeners.
Amazing. Love flying and Junior Boy's own Mag. Absolutely. Cowboy Records went home with a metal chain bikini and Mag and an invite to Full Circle. That was what a time to be alive, Karen. Eh? What a time. Gav from Hayes is saying never get out of the boat, Dean. Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful stuff. Dale saying, Dino, remember Glastonbury Jazz Stage? A Loof gig was good and fun and very wet and muddy and crazy.
Yeah, with Massive Attack. Yeah,
great memories. Hang on, Danny's loving that saga now. Everyone's loving that one. That's brilliant. That's excellent. Yeah, great. So Brandon, Dean, and by the way, thank you for sharing that. That was good.
It's okay, mate.
It's about being real, this stuff, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
There was some good times, and then there were some tough times, and then you bring back the good times, right? And that's kind of
exactly. Yeah.
So Brandon, tying that into you as well. There were some good times. There was a lot of good times. On our last interview, we did touch on a couple of things. I don't think the lads would necessarily have heard this, so I'm going to share this little story. I'm not going to go down the obvious route of the Brits or anything like that, because we many people know that story. But we will reminisce ever so slightly about the day that you came to my recording studio and you hired out my recording studio for the day. You turned up with, I think it was about £150 in like coins in a bag. Yeah. He turned up with this bag to pay the engineer and everything. It was all like 5p's and 10p's and that. This huge like carrier bag for about 150 quid. Like he's just raided like his piggy bank. You know what I mean? And he's walked in, right? And I need you to bear in mind, I need you to picture this. We're at the back of an office block by the train station at Hammersmith. So there's this quite posh office block. It's quite pleasant, you know, nice place. Lots of like well-to-do people. And then there's a few scraggy dudes like us out the back, like making some music. And someone, I think someone might have called me or said, like, you need to come downstairs, Mark, what's going on? I walked down, I remember looking over the top of the car party thing, and I looked down and all I heard was, well, hey! I looked down and I was like, oh, it's Brandon. Okay, what's he doing? And I went down to see him, and he was standing there and he had a full like fur coat, like no joke, like this huge fur coat. His pajamas, like full pajamas, top and bottom pajamas, and a pair of like big sort of like, were they Ugg boots or something? I don't know, Brad. What were they? And he's standing there. He's got, like, it looks like he's got last night's dinner down his top, right? He's there for a full day of music production, I'm telling you. And I was like, Brandon, come in, mate. I put my arm around him and sort of like walked him away, like got him into the studio and everything. And I'm not sure how productive the day was. But it was a fun story, Brandon. And one of the best bits I shared last time was that when I was sharing that story, you said, yeah, I didn't even live near there. It was like, yeah.
I can't remember, because I just thought, how did I get to the studio? I didn't get a cab. I can't remember. I wouldn't have driven, but I was where was I? I was probably in Rice. I don't even know where I was.
I hope you didn't get on the tube.
I just wondered if I got on the tube with a bag of coins.
Anyway. So, Brandon, there were some good times. There were some fun times. There were some great party times. And then, of course, there were some really tough times for you, right? And I mean, your book, I've read your book. I didn't read it immediately when it came out. I actually read it a few years later. If anyone hasn't read it, I really want them to make sure they do read it, because, I mean, it's really well written. It's written by you and your friend who's basically looking at it, you know, from the outside looking in at what you were doing. And some of the stuff in there, like your dad's in there and everything. I mean, why don't you just give us a bit of a rundown of how that time was for you?
Well, look, I mean, Dino obviously has been a friend for many years, and I got ill the same time as him. Now I didn't realise it was '96, because that's when I had to leave Ibiza, because unbeknown to me, I did know actually, but I would have been diagnosed with when I was on a trip to Hong Kong. In fact, about 2 years previous, I decided that it'd be a good idea to dive off the back of the Star Ferry into the soup, let's say, and it wasn't like a small boat. It's a proper ferry.
It's a big boat. That is a big boat.
And, I missed the propeller as it's pulling in because I dived off the back. I could have got caught in the swell and I missed it. God, yeah, it's stupid. And they get a human chain off the side of the boat to get me up because it's actually very illegal to dive off that ferry. So the thing was, it was quite strange because the harbour master or the captain, let's say, people let you off. I jumped in that side. They managed to pull me up just as we was pulling up to dock, and I was soaking wet. So I walked off the boat soaking wet, and I thought, how do you get soaking wet? Morning. Anyway, so unbeknownst, I came home and I started getting very ill, and I was getting pains in my chest and my back, and I was coughing up a lot of stuff, and I ended up going to the doctors and saying, look, this is how I feel. It turned out I caught TB, which was a communicable disease, which I had the community healthcare worker used to come and visit me, and I was in isolation. I was so incredibly involved in my habit, let's say, that I actually got gear brought into the hospital when I was in isolation, which is terrible. But at the time, it was what I needed. But so I got ill, and alongside that, with continuing to do the whatever else I was involved with, I was drinking still and still partying and still going out DJing, and then eventually the illnesses, and I got hepatitis as well, and then I got bloody whatever else was going on. So I actually was crumbling from the inside out. And
Brandon, can I just? I'm sure I read this or I heard this. Was at one point that you said something to the effect of that the only thing that took the pain away as soon as you opened your eyes in the morning was like more of the stuff.
Yeah, but then what happened was But then what happened was the pain started overtaking even that. So it was now not. It was just I was in so much physical pain. My body was just, and I was tolerant so much for the other stuff. So it was counteracting. There was no point even doing it anymore. So I actually that's when I come to the decision. I was sitting in the hospital in Norfolk Park saying, I didn't know what to do, and I just had this moment, and I thought, I've got to stop this. And that's the moment I had this click in my head, and I think, in all honesty, I'm very grateful to be here because I was given 2 weeks to live, in fact. But I think that moment of clarity, like I suppose Dino, that night when he said touring every single day, and I mean at that time I was DJing every night. And, I did like a party, and I was the one sort of instigating most of them. So when promoters wanted to go, you ain't going anywhere, stand up with me. That Dino, and it's just too much. But look, that moment of clarity was incredible. And it was like, and I think for me, what that moment was that I let go of the fear of not living, of living without the gear. I think I was fearful of living without. That's what kept me in doing it, and so I let go of that fear, and then that's the journey started the other side. And since then, I can't complain. My life, I'm still here, and it's lovely to see friends. We've been friends for 30, 40 years nearly, and that's a lifetime for still here, talking on the new technology, and we can smile at each other and not see each other for years. And God, I've got some fantastic memories. I'll just, look at Dino and smile, and Max and you, and think of the stuff that's all the good stuff, really, all the good stuff, and we had some fantastic times. We're very, very grateful, as Danny said.
And I'm looking forward to a chance when we can actually get back together and enjoy the more fun things.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
There's another term. Dean says saga louts. I heard one the other day, seenagers.
Danny says Saga Louts is a name for a band, so
it is actually.
I think we can all get into that one together as producers. So that would be fun. That'd be a dream team of producers. And Max, the common thread of all of this, including myself, is that we've all ended up in hospital. I ended up with an incurable disease as I've put in Life Remixed and had to recover from it. But Max, you had your own moment, didn't you?
I did. Too much partying. Ended up with pneumonia and a semi-collapsed lung.
So wasn't it your third day at Flying Records?
Yeah, it was.
So you got to ring in sick 3 days in, yeah?
Yeah. I started coughing up pink stuff, and I was not quite sure what was going on. Then Gaffer called the doctors, and I ended up in casualty.
Yeah, and then you got a friendly visit, right?
Yes, I got Yes, two very, very concerned friends, Charlie and Dean, who hadn't been home the night before.
Sorry, Max.
Yeah. So they hadn't been home the night before. Were they compassionate and caring, and did they wish to give you cuddles and make sure you were okay, or was it not like
Hang up for it.
did they give you-
Giggling at me with a mask on, a breathing mask.
I'm surprised the nurses didn't come in and ask them if they needed a drink of water or perhaps a moment to compose themselves, because I'm sure giggling at the bloke in the hospital bed who's got pneumonia is probably not the regular turn of events, is it? You bring flowers? Nah. Oh, anyway, wow. Like Gav's just saying, great to have you through that top bloco. You're a top guy. We love that. And that's amazing. Hang on. We've got loads of stuff here. Brandon was giving us fashion tips for 2020. I'm not sure that's to Karen, so I'm not sure what's going on there.
My hat, I think.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, and then Gary Calloway. Excellent. Gary's with us. Brilliant. Gary's a good mate of mine. Brandon playing the Space Terrace bareback summer 1990. That's when you're.
I don't even mean bareback. I'm talking means topless.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what he means. Yeah. And Celtic Alan. Celtic Alan, do you remember Alan who used to come in the shop? Scottish Alan, Max, do you remember him? He used to come in the shop. So yeah, there was some fantastic characters that came in for sure. So yeah, I mean, listen, we've been through so many challenges, obviously ourselves. I mean, yeah, I mentioned that bit about taking the pain away. Something else I wrote down as well was that there was definitely a unique selling point in the shop, wasn't there? By having all of the DJs, having all of us out there, it was just this self-fulfilling kind of prophecy, wasn't it? Because we kept going out there. I mean, for one, Rocky said last week, like none of us earned any money out of there ever. Like ever, like so whoever was in charge of Lofty at times going, right, you owe me like 20 quid because like and you've done a full week's worth of work, but you haven't earned a penny out of the place, you know. But you know, I mean, we're all there. But the USP really was actually things like that, Dean, when you actually able to, you know, bring in a white label, press a white label, produce a white label, press a white label, then put it in the shop, because that actually brought in other customers, because then we had an exclusive, didn't we? We had an exclusive that was like that no one had.
I think, if I remember rightly, I think we sold 3,000 copies out of the shop.
Wow.
3,000 white labels.
Just out of flying.
Yeah.
That's
Because
amazing.
I think we pressed it and then pressed it and then pressed it, and it was 1,000 at a time. And then it went to Tongi, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's amazing, and you know, as you say, led on to an amazing career, didn't it? So yeah. I mean,
sorry, Mark. I was just going to say, how did you sign just the one single?
Yeah, just the one single. Yeah. It was a single deal, and then you know, and then Cowboy was being developed, being talked about, and then so of course next stuff came out on Cowboy. You know,
Wicked.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, you know, and you worked at Cowboy for a few years, right, Dean? So
yeah.
How many records did Cowboy put out? I mean, you know, Charlie will probably tell us in a minute, to be honest. But can you remember?
God. Cool.
Which one was it?
I can't remember, but it was a lot. I mean, and they all. We didn't have any duff ones. They all did well, all of them. You know, and there was all sorts of remixes going on all the time. You know, with Farley, Fabby. All sorts of stuff, you know. And I remember what was a nice thing that happened at Cowboy as well was a good friend of ours, of all of us, Chris Butler. I think most people watching this would know Chris.
Yeah.
And he won't mind me saying this, but back in the day, he went away for a little while, and so I wrote the powers that be a letter saying that once Chris got released, he would have a job at Cowboy, and he got released, and he made a record under the name Charis, and we put that out, and then David Holmes, got involved and helped him set up White Noise, and Chris went and set up White Noise above Saber's studio, and that was great. That really set Chris up, and he's to this day he still manages artists and stuff.
He managed Express too, didn't he? When they were doing Laser.
Yeah, Chris managed some amazing people over the years. Yeah.
That's a nice thing to be able to do, particularly if someone's having a tough time. Someone, the best people are people that will bend down and help someone else, lift them up, and
he was just one of those unfortunate people when it happened to him at a time when, acid house kids all over the front pages of the Sun and all that sort of stuff. And he was just one of these unfortunate people that got picked up with a few in his pocket, and that was it. He got made an example of.
That whole time when it was getting like all that negative press, because we kind of we went under the radar for a couple of years, and then the Sun got hold of it and came out with some absolute tosh, and then it all just went. It started to get a bit messy from there, didn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean, Brandon, just I'd love you to touch on like what you're doing now as well, if you don't mind, and just what you're helping, the people you're helping and the things you're doing at the moment, because I know you're doing a lot, to help others recover from the sort of issues that you had yourself, right?
Well, thanks, mate. I started on that sort of journey in 2010, and I decided that I was about time I sort of gave back a bit. And since then, I've been sort of doing that type of stuff. I've got a charity now called with Michelle, who's watching, Michelle Allen and Gaynor Murphy, and there's other members and trustees who are part of it. It's just become, we're waiting for the full license, but we're ready to go for everyone, which is a mental health wellbeing charity. We do workshops and stuff and do fundraisers, and you talk to festivals. We do there's a lot of mental health wellbeing festivals which are coming up and will be even online, and when they can open up at some point, there'll be so we're involved in a lot of those. I work for a charity at the moment called Hepatitis C Trust, which is curing a virus which is blood-borne, which means it's transfused through blood, but anyway, we are helping people get better from that, and the idea is we cure people and get rid of that for permanently. So lots of stuff going on, and obviously what's been going on with COVID. What do you do? Like the nighttime industry are doing some incredible stuff with Mike, so there's going to be a lot of stuff about mental health in that when we're allowed out again, let's say. I just think I had a call in, and that's what I decided to do, and it's very good.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. It's great that you committed your life now to helping other people, mate. Because when you've been through challenges, to come out the other side is something that we can all be grateful for, right? So I think that's important. I've got a few questions. I popped a little thing in there as well, and I said, "Has anyone got any questions for the chaps?" And I've got a few that have popped up. Max, this one might be for you, Max. I don't know, because I can't remember. What did an Italian import cost to shop, and what did we sell it to the people for? Stuart wants a bit of business advice. I haven't got a clue. Not a clue.
No, not saying.
I seem to remember the Italian imports were about $5.99 to buy at the time, or something like that. And
sorry, do you remember, Wilkie and Max? Do you remember when Kevin Urry and Swaney used to go to Italy and go to the Disco Magic warehouse and pick out all the Italian tunes and come back, and no one was going, "What's that? What's that?" and then flying out to go and chase them up to pick them up.
Yeah, I remember Weatherall used to cover the centre spindle of all his records. He used to put like a little in fact, he put a label on there once, and we were all like peering over. Like, I think it might have been Song for Denise or something that he was playing.
Song for Denise, that's it.
We're all looking over the top, and he'd just written in massive capitals like "F off" on the. We're like, right, okay, he doesn't want to tell us. It's a competitive business, right? Max, here's one for you. With the benefit of passing of many years, some years, do you think you undersold Hideaway to James and a bit? And how did you get into Slip and Slide? That's a great question, actually, and more to the point. Whether you undersold it or oversold, I don't know. But the point is actually that you left flying and then you went to Slip and Slide for how long?
Well, I actually went to Kicking to be club promotions, which was just crazy because I hated rave with an absolute passion. I thought that's what I was doing, but I knew I needed a change, and he gave me slip slide to run. And I'd never run a label in my life. I didn't have a clue. And in fact, I think Lofty might have done a record, his first record for us.
Yeah, I think you might be right there. Yeah.
Live as well. Half came to the studio. So then Terry one day, basically, as he is, was, why don't you get this record and I'll remix it, and that's how I sort of found my direction.
Yeah, I mean, DeLacy Hideaway was a monster of a hit, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that was again, that all was. I mean, if Rocky and that lot hadn't ended up next to a crack den in New York and ended up in my hotel, I would have never have met Deep Dish and never have gone out and with them.
Strange how things come together, Max, isn't it? It's funny how the universe works when you end up anyway. Yeah.
But it was literally, I had landed in New York, I had no idea what I was doing, and they rang me and went, we need 5 rooms like now, and I'm like, okay, well I got them 5 rooms, and then they were like, oh, we're going out to Tribal tonight, so why don't you come with us? And I was like, oh, okay. And I sat right opposite Ali and Sharon from Deep Dish, and
it's great how things come together. You know, there's some of them. You know, nowadays with the internet, we can connect a lot easier. But this was before the internet. I mean, did we even have? We didn't even really have mobile. I remember my first mobile phone was about 1993, 4, and it was this huge like house brick type thing. You know, and it was like, this was when we actually had to talk to people and actually connect. You know, in a real way. So Dale says, question for Dean: how do you keep looking so young and still be a dead ringer for Norman Wisdom? Hold on. Whoa. What's going on in the bottom left? What's blockade? What is that?
I will leave you later.
Heather's cooking. There we go. Heather's fantastic cooking.
Yes, that's lovely. That's lovely. There we go. So we've got a few other comments here as well. Let me just check them all. Here we go. Dean was never got out of the boat made for a good trip, as it certainly went hand in hand. I don't know what he's talking about. I think he's talking about a journey somewhere. I think he's talking about like a nice trip to the sunshine or something.
Yeah, of course it was. That's hence the samples were from Apocalypse Now and the Magic Roundabout.
That's right, mate. Yeah, that's right. Amazing. So, let's talk a little bit about 2020 and 2021. It's been weird, hasn't it? It's been weird for everyone. Of course, we've all been impacted. Max, from your side, though, I think you mentioned to me the other day, I mean, you work with Rob Raw, you in Mustard Music, you've got publishing, etc., etc. I mean, that hasn't impacted you, COVID, in a negative way so much, I think you mentioned to me. About the whole
publishing, it has, because obviously the TV, film, etc., but PPL has gone the other way because loads of people were listening to the radio, listening to music, so, and that generates income.
Okay, but there's still an income there for you that you can. You're working. You've got your office. It's not desperately bad for your business currently. As
Rob's obviously got Phonetic.
Yeah.
He does his radio show from here. He does got a little promotion company. We got the publishing and PPL. So.
Nice. So you're all right, but Dino, obviously the club nights, Studio 45, the social in at Little Portland Street, but that was monthly, right? You've been doing that for years.
Yeah. So I've been at the social for, I think it's a total of 16 years, and I'd set the tone with Steve Saunders. That ran for 7 years, and then we had a break for a couple of years. Then the social asked us to go back and start a new night. So then we started Studio 45, and that's just gone from strength to strength. With Steve, God rest his soul, he's not with us anymore, but his spirit's definitely there, and then quite a few years ago, got asked out to do IB for Soul Week, Bob Masters thing,
Yeah.
which then led to untold gigs around the soul scene and doing lots of stuff with Eddie Pillar on the Modcast. And of course, you know, Ed set up Totally Wired Radio. So I do a show on there every Thursday with Richard Epps, as well as the Saturday night Studio 45 slot. So at the moment, my income is not happening because it's still very music based. And I also do some music consultancy for a company called Seaburn. And they put all the music in various pub chains, various shops, cruise liners, all sorts. But obviously, their stuff's not happening either. But you know, but I'm getting by on the old the government payout.
If you can't get by on with what you've been doing, the government have done all right. I mean, you know, they've helped.
You know, I've got to take my hat off to them, to be honest. You know, because if it wasn't for that, I don't know what I'd be doing. I certainly wouldn't be busking. I can't seek to save my life. Do you know what I mean?
I've got Danny Rolnick saying good evening. We've got Del O'Brien. You remember Del?
Yeah, Del.
Hello, mate.
Del's saying hello, boys. I love you all. And hold on. We've got a blast from the past here. Wait, get ready.
Hey!
Hey! I told him the story, Scotty boy.
Excellent. I'm going to have to ask you, Scott. I'm not going to ask you live online, but Scott, I'm going to put you on the spot at some point because I think you might have to come into Flying Part 3. I'm going to have to get a few more people on the screen, but I'm going to do that in a few weeks. I'll be in touch with Ali and Joe and Scott and Ali and Charlie and Clive, I hope. But yeah, we're going to do Flying Part 3 without a doubt. Yeah, listen, this is great stuff, lads. It's absolutely great. I mean, is there anything that you want to, Brandon? I didn't touch on you so much. So obviously, as far as the daytime work, the charity work, you're working. You're still working, but obviously, you know, there's nothing else that you can do.
Well, look, you know, myself and Ali do our Sweet Sensation parties. We did a few live streams raising money for Happy Days, and also I did a lot of the live stream. Let's say a few of the ones that were raising money, like Centre Force, and obviously myself and Ricky Morrison do our show on My Soul. Yeah, every Friday night, which is lovely. We get a chance to play some soul music and some, you know, across the board, some house and whatever else we want to play. Which is lovely. Are
you doing that remotely, Brandon? Still, are you doing that remotely, or you go to the studio?
We pre-record. We can't. I mean, still, it's just still too. I don't know. You know, I mean, I've been out on the train. I went to, you know, go pick clients and stuff. It's really quiet, but you know,
I was in Soho this afternoon with clients, and honestly, it's like a ghost town.
It really is.
The weirdest thing. I mean, I've actually had clients. I had clients on March the 24th, the day after they locked down, like, you know, the full lockdown, the first one. I had clients still up in town, and I still had to go up. It was like construction clients, so I went up there. Yeah. I found myself standing in the middle of Regent Street at 11 o'clock in the morning. Not another person.
I know.
Literally, it'll never happen again. It was just the weirdest thing in the centre of London. It was bizarre.
Yeah. I was on the tube the other day. Literally the other day, I was going up to town to do something, and I was on the Jubilee line. I think about 11 in the morning, and I was the only one who got on the train. It was mad. But yeah, look, listen. I think the most important thing is we all stay well. You know, remember the ones that we've lost, and unfortunately, and also look, you know, as I say, the government has been great. I think with that financial for certain people, it hasn't. It's another story, but
hang on. I've got another one here. I've got another message here. I'm not sure who he's talking about, but remember Elliot from Paper?
Ken Barlow looks well. Idiot.
Hang on, and Norman Wisdom too. I'm not. We've got Norman Wisdom. We've got Tristan. From Jordan Williams.
I might be Ken Barlow, Elliot, man.
I don't know who Max is. Honestly, I don't. But honestly, this has been fantastic. I just want to read you something as well, if you don't mind, Brandon. I don't want to embarrass you or anything, but do you mind if I just share something? You've written an endorsement for Live Through Mix. Do you mind if I just share it with the?
Share it away, mate. Share it away.
So Brandon has written this for Live Through Mix, and he's been supporting me a long way through this about the book that obviously is coming out in 2 weeks' time. And Elliot's by the way, Elliot's just laughing. And saying love to you all as well. So he's it's all right. It's all right, Elliot. We love you, mate. We love you.
It's lovely to see you, man.
So Brandon wrote this, and there's a bit about this that we'll cover as well. So Brandon wrote, Having shared many great moments with Wilkie over the years, and some darker moments too, and now being on the same journey of discovery with new experiences and even greater moments is fantastic to see. We've remained great friends throughout. I always admire people who are able to make huge changes in their lives. Wilkie has passion and motivation and has completely changed everything. Wow. So thank you, Brandon. Thank you for writing. Yeah, thank you for writing that, mate. That's really from the heart as well. And, I've got nothing but love and appreciation for you for writing that and putting it towards Life Remix, mate. So,
do you want my bank details now?
I've got them for you. And I should just tell you that was another moment. You know the moment when he's in the studio and he's like, okay, right? You know that moment. Well, there was another one when I had really bad knees a few years ago, and I walked into a Tony Robbins seminar. And I walked in and I was on my own because I just wanted to go and see it. I just thought I'd observe. I thought I'd have a quiet one. I'll just observe it on my own and just sort of see what it's all about. And I sat in the cheap seats and I was kind of like chilling. And all of a sudden, Wilkie! At the top of it, and I was like, I'm turning around and I'm like, Brandon, unbelievable. And we went up the front and we spent 4 days together and we hung out, and it was a real bonding experience, Blocko. And
it was great, mate. It was great. Really good.
It was absolutely lovely. It was really lovely. I'm getting loads more comments coming in. Basically saying, you got any imports, Dina? Yeah. Gary Kelly's saying, get Martin the poet on. Yeah, I'll get Martin on. That'd be great. It'd be nice to have Martin Passy on. He's a lovely chap. Listen, it's been an outstanding night. Has anyone got anything else that they want to add, and anything else they want to put in? Anything you're doing now? Any shouts? Any love? Anything that's important that you want to share with the world? This is your last chance tonight.
I was going to say Ali's on next week, but me and Ali have got a trip to Greece in September planned for Sweet Sensation. So fingers crossed, if we want a late summer holiday, come and join us out there.
That would be amazing.
And yes, and I can't wait to be on the next Soul weekend when we get a chance with Dino.
Yeah, well, by the looks of it, the light's at the end of the tunnel now, isn't it? We're coming out of this, and yeah, exactly. Fingers crossed, and we'll all be getting out again by the tail end of the summer with a bit of luck. And I think we could be heading for the third summer of love. Let's hope so.
Do you know what? That's a great
point. Nice, wouldn't it?
That's a great point, because at the end of the day, when you've been cooped up as long as we are, it's proper Groundhog Day. I managed to get out and see a few clients still, thankfully. But it's proper Groundhog Day. It's tough, isn't it? It's tough for everyone, mentally, physically. It's too cold. I don't want to ride my bicycle. So, there's lots of things that you sort of can't do that you miss. I'm missing them. I'm like, come on, we need to get back to life.
Luckily, I've been nipping up to Totally Wired Radio / Acid Jazz on a Thursday, and catching up with a couple of people. But it's all, there's only a couple of people there. It's very skeleton staff at the moment, and it's kind of weird because I now live just outside Margate, and if I walk down the road to the beach is at the end of my road, I walk along there, and I see more people in an hour walking along there than I do going into Shoreditch.
Right.
Acid Jazz. It's bonkers.
People are staying local, but I'll be honest. Danny Rampling swims in the sea, don't you? He goes in and does the cryo.
Yeah.
You fancy that, Dino? Or
toe spinning? That's about it.
I'm gonna have a go at that, but I've got no sea here.
Yeah, it's. I'll wait for Goa.
yeah. You give me a nice warm beach. Listen, we're gonna cut it. We're not cut it short. We're gonna finish in a little while, chaps. But I've just got loads of love coming into the chat box. So I'm gonna put these up. Chester Charlie says, great stuff, lads. I'm not going to do the Flying Part 3 next week, but I will be in touch, and we're going to do that in March, definitely. Rob has said, love tonight, lads. Brilliant. Rob's saying great stuff, and thanks for inputting, Rob, and being keeping Max on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, I'd say thank you. I would like to say thank you to him as well, because I tell you what, he's been brilliant.
Good. Well, you're both top lads. And I'm really pleased that you're
on my right hand side. He's been brilliant.
Brilliant, and I love that. It's people helping each other. Richard Elliott's just saying great stuff, all of you. Karen's saying thank you, gents, for spreading the love. Yeah, that's what we've been doing. And you're going to love this one, Blocko. You're sacked again. Oh yeah, you were sacked again, mate, for sure. Honestly, I mean, you know, we've managed to get through the whole night without me having to pull out the virtual swear jar. I don't think any of us have actually sworn anything about Charlie.
No, we're all behaving.
Charlie,
Get a jar, Mark. Charlie, fuck off.
oh god, I can't even edit it.
Oh dear. You're allowed. We're allowed. We're not angels.
Elliot's saying, love that. Danny's saying, a summer of discontent. Well, hopefully we'll be more contented, Dan. But yeah, I hear you, mate. I hear you.
Yeah.
Russell, I'm not sure what he's trying to say there, but we can guess. Keith saying, brilliant chaps, I've loved it. Lofty is just giving us a big God bless you, gents. Love to you all. Lofty was amazing.
Back at you, Loft.
Lofty was amazing, yeah, and what a top fella. And we're all going to find our way out of this mess and this crisis, and we're all going to bounce back. And just having these little sessions together and you know, bringing a bit of joy to others and all that kind of stuff is part of my purpose. And you know, I really can't thank you guys enough for being here tonight. Massive love for all of you from Heather. She's in the next room, isn't she, Dina? I think from you.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Is Heather doing Jay Shetty's challenge? Is that something?
Yeah, she must be. I don't know. She's up to all sorts of stuff. I don't know.
Do you reckon you can get Heather to come in? Do you reckon you can get Heather to come in and give us a wave? Do you reckon she'll come in?
Yeah, Heather, come and give us a wave. Mexican.
Stuart, before if Heather's going to join us, I hope she is. I hope she'll come and give us a wave.
Hang on, let me shout out.
Oh, is she being shy? Don't worry if she's being shy, Dino. It's fine.
Yeah, where are you? Come on.
Come and give us a wave, Heather. Everyone would love to see you. Here she is. Hey! Thank you, Heather.
She's putting her earrings on.
Heather's been, you know, behind the scenes, making sure that this happened and getting Dean sorted out with the camera and all that stuff as well. So I've got massive love for Heather, and thanks for reaching out to Max and Brandon. It's been great. So Stuart's saying we'd love to hear more Queens, Valbonds and Soho theatre stories. We'll get round to that one. Justine is just saying, well, she's just cracking up. Sally Stone is just giving us.
Oh, lovely, Sally.
Sally's saying brilliant and loads of smiles. Stuart is saying great stuff tonight. Thanks. Paul is saying lovely to see you all looking so well, gents. Yeah, I'll say that for you three as well. It's lovely to see you, all three of you, you know, and wonderful that we've managed to sort out the technology and everything else. Yeah. Heather's getting loads of love. Ealing Comedy Capers, that was funny from Danny. It's so good to have Danny watching. Love Heather. Paul saying thanks for the love. Joe's saying brilliant, well done, chaps. Joe Mills, wonderful. Millsy and Max's mail order extravaganza. They were the kings and queens of mail order, and they used to absolutely nail it. I'm looking forward to having Joe on with a session as well. And everyone's just saying big love from Ibiza. Hi to Heather. Good to see you. Lisa Allen's just saying big love as well. Lisa's a good friend of mine back from those days. Fiona's saying hello, Heather. Scott's just saying remember Dean and Heather's wedding.
The wedding that nearly didn't happen. They phoned us the day before and they said it's a rave. And we were like, no, it's not a rave. And they said, well, we've had people trying to buy tickets.
It was a rave.
And, but it was still a wedding, and it weren't tickets.
Amazing. No, if you were
playing your wedding is fantastic, man.
I was going to say, if you were savvy enough to sell tickets for your wedding, mate, then fair play. Yeah.
No.
That was the after party, wasn't it?
It was. Where was it, Heather? Shepperton Film Studios. Yeah.
Brilliant.
That was brilliant.
That is a rave. Joe's just saying big love to Julie. Claudine saying big love to Brandon, Dean and Max. Heather, awesome time. So many memories. Remember New Meow, yeah.
New Meow, yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, going into Queens at like 3 o'clock in the morning after they kicked out all the sort of normal people. And New Meow. I remember going in there at like 3 o'clock in the morning and like somehow stumbling out there about like lunchtime and just like... Yeah,
because it was on the reservoir. I remember the doors opened. I don't know what time did it used to finish? Was it 10 o'clock or something like that?
Yeah, it was early morning. It was lunch. Well, yeah.
And they opened the doors, and it was just thick fog.
Yeah.
And we was all standing by the door. No one would go outside because we couldn't work out why it was all cotton wool.
Where's the car? Best I don't drive. Yeah, okay. Right. So Julie's saying love to Joe. John's just saying outstanding night, chaps. Love the rosy cheeks, Dean, from Richard. And Rich Russell's saying love this. Make sure part 3 happens soon. It will happen soon. It'll be in a few weeks. I promise you that. And Simon Smith's just saying big love to you all. I could go on and on and on. I could. Honestly. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful, guys. I'm so grateful that you all joined into this tonight. Thank
you for getting it together, Mark. You know,
yeah, mate, well done.
It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, great.
It's been a lot of fun, and it's going to be up on YouTube. People can watch it back for time as long as they don't want it. It'll be back up there, and there's a lot of happy memories, a lot of fun times, and there'll be some more. I'll do the flying part 3, I promise you, in the next few weeks, and let's keep the vibe alive. Let's keep going.
Most definitely, yeah.
As I say, Life Remix, the book is coming out. I know Heather's pre-ordered a copy already. I saw that, so I've got big love for Heather. Thank you all so much for the support and just being here. It's brilliant, and the thank yous are coming in. If you go onto any of my pages, you're going to see all of this. The love is huge. And if every one of you's got a great story, we've come through tough times. We will come through these tough times. Tough times don't last. Tough people do. So, I'm gonna. There you go, Brandon. That's it, mate. I'm gonna love you and leave you. But once again, thank you. Have a wonderful rest of the evening. Thank you all for watching. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks everybody for the messages and stuff. Yeah, it's brilliant. Thank you.
Brilliant stuff.
Lovely to see you.
Love you.
Well done. See you later. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Bye.